What's up, good people? It's your boy, Leroy McKenzie Jr., coming to you from the lab. It goes down in the lab. The grind takes place in the lab. Coming to you today. Y'all thought it was a day off, didn't you? Well, not for those that are on their grind. It's not a day off. When they sleep, when they take off, you work. And that's what we're here to talk about today. This week, I'm talking about sacrifice. What does it take to be great? It takes sacrifice. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. And I'll talk about that from a couple of different perspectives today, but I'm going to give you these three things that entail sacrifice. They entail sacrifice. And I'll give you a couple of examples. One of the things that I watched last week, and it kind of gave me the idea for this to talk about sacrifice, because sacrifice is the second S in my boss life mentality. And to have a boss life mentality, for those that don't know, it stands for build, organize, shift, and sacrifice. Last week I talked about the shift, how to handle the shift. Before that, I talked about how to organize, how to be organized, and how to organize the organization. And then before that, I talked about build. How do you build and all of that? So we're coming to that final S, which is the sacrifice. What does it mean to sacrifice? Well, sacrifice takes three things. It takes commitment, it takes determination, and it takes persistence. Perseverance, I should say. Perseverance. Commitment, it takes commitment, it takes determination, and it takes perseverance. That's what sacrifice is. Because in anything that you do that's going to cost you something, you got to be committed to it. You're going to have to be determined to accomplish it. And then you're going to have to persevere to get to it, persevere to get through it. I watched the Last Dance series, docu series. I don't know if you want to call it a docu series, but the Michael Jordan Bulls, Chicago Bulls story. And one of the things that I came away with from the whole series with him was his commitment to wanting to be the greatest player ever in in basketball and NBA. Now that's his perception of it and everything like that, but that was his goal. He wanted to be the greatest ever. And the thing that stuck out to me was what came with that. What comes with being great. And I thought about it, and I looked at that docu series, and I saw how committed he was, how determined he was, and how he was able to persevere through everything that he went through in order to become great and to become Michael Jordan and who he is. And what comes along with that, what comes along with being great. What comes along with being great is that sacrifice. It comes, you have to sacrifice certain things, whether it's your family, you sacrifice time with your family, your privacy that comes along with it, and all of those things, whether it's your in your personal life or in your professional life. If you want to achieve greatness in your family, if you want to be a great father, it's going to be sacrifice. It means you may have to sacrifice being at work late. It may mean to be with your kids or to go to an event with your kids. It may be, if you want to be a great, in your family, it may cause you to have to say no to doing certain projects on your job, or being an entrepreneur. You may have to put that on the side, or even being an entrepreneur, you may have to say no to some contracts or to no to some things that you are trying to do, because your family is what means greatness to you. Being that great dad, being that great mom, all of those things that come along with the sacrifice of that. So you got to think about that. And then on from a business perspective, being an entrepreneur, if you want to be great, if you want to be the best in your industry, if you want to be great in your industry, if you want your business to be great, there's going to have to be some sacrifices. And you may have to, on the other end of that, you may have to sacrifice time with your family. You may have to sacrifice going out with your hanging out with the fellas, or hanging out with your sister girls. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice in order to be able to be who it is that you want to be. What are you willing to sacrifice? How committed are you to being who it is that you want to be? So this whole week is about that. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to do in order to be able to get where it is that you want to be? Well, I don't care what aspect of your life that you look at. Being a leader means that you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice something. Being great in something or at something, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to not only sacrifice, but within the sacrifice means you have to be committed. You got to be determined. And you're going to have to persevere. I promise you. Those three things will be a part of what you do in sacrificing. It comes along with that territory. So you have to understand what sacrifice entails and what it is. That's being committed, that's me being determined, and that's being able to persevere. So this week, I want you to focus on those things. What are you committed? Those three things. What do you and ask yourself this question: what am I committed to? What am I determined to do? And what am I willing? How am I willing to persevere? How much am I willing to persevere through the challenges that are going to come along with that? With whatever it is, whatever your assignment is, whatever it is that you say you want to do, that you want to accomplish, that you want to do this week, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice? Because only those that are willing to sacrifice are those that will get ahead in life. I promise you. If you're not willing to sacrifice, you won't get anywhere in this life, because you won't be able to do it, because everything comes at a cost. And the only question is are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to pay what it's going to cost you to be who it is that you want to be? And if the answer is yes, then you want to map out, you want to think about how you're going to get there. And they're going to be, trust me, they're going to be things that will come along that will try to distract you. There will be challenges that will come along that will try and throw you off, and that will knock you off, that may knock you off, and you may lose your focus, but you have the ability to be able to bring yourself back. That's where the commitment comes in. That's where the determination comes in. That's where the perseverance comes in with doing those things. So, are you committed? Are you determined? And are you willing to persevere? That's what sacrifice is. So ask yourself this week. Let's get it started. As I can say is let's get it started. Let's see. Let's be determined to sacrifice this week and beyond. And we've all had to sacrifice something right about now with the situation that we're going through with this pandemic that we're dealing with. We've had to sacrifice going outside. We've had to sacrifice being able to do some of the things that we've been used to doing. So there's been some form of sacrifice. But what are you willing to sacrifice right now in order to be able to get you to where it is that you want to be? You've got to focus on it. You've got to think about it, plan it, put it together, and be determined, be committed, be determined, and be willing to persevere. It's your boy. It's 2020, y'all. This is real. This is real. 2020, fast and furious. We move with purpose and passion. And as I always say, don't chase the impact, because when you chase the impact, you change the world. Let's go change the world, y'all. Peace.